a very warm welcome to yet another fresh episode of your weekly cultural diary, Colours of India. I'm Teena Jha with all the latest cultural activity in the national capital in the week gone by. Starting with the highlights. We start with the first ever International Film Fest for persons with disabilities. Next, a slice of the Chinese culture. And finally, an energetic, expressive Bharatnatyam recital. Cinema plays a dual role. First, it acts as a mirror of the times we live in. And secondly, it raises awareness. So today, we take you to the first International Film Festival for persons with disabilities, organized by the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. The aim of the festival was to recognize the spirit of the disabled. Take a look.
You mentioned on your site that you actually took up photography after you lost your eyesight to
a cornea infection.
Yes.
Yeah, true.
Why photography?
When I first started taking pictures, I was very much amused by the character of the perfumer in Susskind's novel.
The first International Film Festival for persons with disabilities.
To the surroundings, to experiences, was very much amusing.
A Government of India initiative. Big names of Indian filmdom, directors, producers and actors were present.
I always knew sadhu chipkar peete hain, but unfortunately liver cirrhosis is going to give you away.
It should have been more to do with intoxication than with drinking.
Creative minds who have made a dent towards changing the mindset on people with disabilities.
पर आपके लेने ना लेने से क्या फर्क पड़ता है?
तो फिर किसी भी चीज से क्या फर्क पड़ता है?
The highlight, films in 40 Indian languages besides international cinema.
आमचा वेदांत काय सुंदर क्रिकेट खेळतो. तेंडुलकर काय उगाच रिटायर झाला.
दांडिया क्वीन आहे आमची शैला.
An effort to create awareness to shed light on different categories of disabilities.
The idea in the sector is to spread awareness, because ultimately what we want to do is change the mindset, so that if the mindset gets changed and the attitude towards disability changes, things will automatically change. We need to do it all over the country. We need to do it in the urban areas and particularly in the rural areas of the country where the stigma for disability is quite high. We need to work hard. I am sure this festival in its own way shall go a long way.
In collaboration with the National Film Development Corporation, IFFPD 2015 presented films igniting critical issues around persons with disabilities, celebrating their lives. Films like Yellow and Gunga Pehelwan recognize and facilitate the indomitable spirit.
नाव काय तुझं? स्वतःचं नाव सुद्धा अजून तिला सांगता येत नाहीये.
Showcasing challenges, trials and success. Gunga Pehelwan is a biopic documentary on the life of Virendra Singh. India's only deaf national wrestler fights able-bodied wrestlers with immense skill. Virendra is India's most successful deaf athlete on his quest to reach the Rio Olympics 2016.
एका स्पेशल मुलीचे स्पेशल आई बाप म्हणून सर्टिफिकेट मिळेल आपल्याला.
ही उपाधी नाहीये मोगदा.
एक फक्त कोंडस नाव आहे स्पेशल आणि मला नकोय ते.
In the category of feature films, Yellow crackles with humor and compassion.
पाण्यात गेला तर तुमचं अख्खं भविष्य पाण्यात गेलं असं समजा.
Based on a true story, it talks about a girl called Gauri abandoned by her father because she has Down syndrome.
मुळात या मुलांकडून काही एक्सपेक्ट करण्यापेक्षा आपण त्यांना ऍक्सेप्ट करणं खूप महत्त्वाचं आहे.
And her rise with the help of her mother and uncle to become an international swimming champion.
तिच्या इम्प्रुव्हमेंटसाठी स्पर्धेची गरज आहे आणि म्हणूनच तुझी.
तिला कॉम्पिटिशन वगैरे जमेल का?
गौरी जंप. जो मुळात शून्यावर असतो ना त्याला हरण्याची कधीही भीती नसते. Come on, Gauri, move fast!
It is a very special festival of very special films about very special people, and it does confirm that somehow India is one of the few contemporary societies where access and empowerment of people with disability has been growing as a movement that has touched all strata of society. But the message is that film can be really very useful because it gives you a very rare opportunity to forget whom you are for 2 hours and to see the world with another person's eyes. And I think 3 days of festival, it's a short time, but still people will be changed by this experience.
काम करते हैं कि शहरों के नाम लेते हैं.
The fest also had special screening of Bajrangi Bhaijaan and Margarita with a Straw.
झांसी, पटियाला, अमृतसर, जोधपुर,
मुरादाबाद,
झुमरी तलैया,
आसनसोल, पाकिस्तान.
Margarita with a Straw is a story of a girl with cerebral palsy who leaves India to study in New York. On her journey of self-discovery, she unexpectedly falls in love.
It's highly important for the general public to be a part of this festival, and for this purpose of just sensitizing the public so that can be fulfilled. So I think it's a great step. It's a first step. I hope it continues for years to come.
वो आइडियाज रहते हैं कि किस तरीके से वो अपने लिए कोई ना कोई चीज़, अपने इस्तेमाल के लिए कोई ना कोई चीज़ बना सकते हैं ताकि उनकी जो लिमिटेशंस है वो ओवरकम कर सकें, वो पार कर सकें.
Workshops presented creative ideas demonstrating how successful individuals with disabilities use visual media as a communication tool.
कि हम खुद जो डेफ कम्युनिटी है हम लोगों से ये कहने लगे कि हमारे पास भी टैलेंट है, हमारी कम्युनिटी में भी बहुत सारी स्किल्स हैं एक्टिंग वगैरह में, और हमने बहुत सारी कैंपेन्स की, एडवोकेसी की, और हमने लोगों से कहा कि हमें देखो, हमारा टैलेंट देखो और हमें मौका दो.
Well, with this festival, the government hopes to create a stepping stone in the movement towards achieving an accessible India. With that, time for us to slip into a very short break. Lots more lined up for you when we return. Don't go anywhere. On the other side, the ancient Chinese culture on display. Welcome back after the break. The Indian and Chinese civilizations are among the oldest in the world. They represent the two pillars of the civilization of the Eastern world. And that's exactly what was on display at the Chinese Dance Festival held recently in the national capital. So take a look at this mesmerizing display of the Chinese culture and tradition.
A night to celebrate one of the oldest civilizations in the world. Chinese Dance Festival 2015, organized by Chinese Embassy to celebrate the 66th anniversary of the founding of People's Republic of China. with the aim to present a slice of Chinese culture in India and to strengthen bilateral cultural cooperation between the two nations. Artists from the Gansu Opera House thrilled a mainly Indian audience.
好，我们这次来到印度演出，感受到了印度人民对我们深厚的友谊。那么我们这次来呢，也有非常重要的意义，就是增进了两国人民的友谊。同时呢，增进了印度人民对我们中国人民的了解，对中国文化的了解。
Besides the dances, there were other performances too. Like martial arts, sword dances, vocal performances and much more. First, a dance presentation titled Behind the Back Playing of Pipa, inspired by the Hai Tang dynasty, showcased vividly the charm of music and dance of Asian China. Flying celestial maidens playing the pipa behind their back in an imitation of the exclusive painting from Mogao grottos. And now the ballet celebrating spring and Beijing opera style songs. Ballet in celebration of the spring is an original Chinese folk song presented in a modern format.
印度还是挺好的，特别有特色的一个地方。然后我们来这儿，就是因为我们这个节目是为了就是展现自己，就是自己中国的很多特色，然后带到印度来，希望印度的朋友们都特别特别喜欢就可以了。谢谢。
Next, the Guzheng and sword dance. It is a combination of Guzheng and flying sword performed during the Tang dynasty. The portrayal of Guzheng and the practice of Wushu combined together made a mesmerizing performance. Time for some martial arts now, a classical dance of Han dynasty titled Floating Clouds and Floating Waters combined dance and martial arts to enthrall audiences.
mesmerizing. The assimilation of Indian and Chinese culture, that was the main focus of the program, and that's what I really liked about it. It's basically a good promotional thing to promote both the cultures, and I really like the way how they did it.
And for the grand finale, Be Together Forever, where all the artists gave an interactive performance promoting friendly ties among the two countries.
India and China are two of the fastest growing economies in the world today. And shows like these build bridges that help grow mutual cooperation, bilateral relationships, collaboration, and of course, cultural exchange. On that note, time for another very short break. Still more lined up on the program. Do stay with us. Coming up next, an evening of Bharatnatyam. Welcome back once again. Religion and mythology are behind so much of India's culture and heritage. And the national capital got a feel of just that in an evening of classical dance. Depicting culture through dance was the central theme of this program. Take a look.
Paying tribute to the Holy Trinity of Hinduism, invoking Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. For Shubhanu Nrityakeshwaram, student performers of this awe-inspiring Bharatnatyam dance to the gods, this is the final annual offering, a symbol of accomplishment. The first performance, titled Swagatam Ganpati, was devoted to Lord Ganesh, the removal of obstacles. Ganesh is honored at the start of rituals and ceremonies.
We are specialized in Bharatanatyam only, and it's pure classical dance form. There are different banis which are there in Bharatanatyam like Kalakshetra, Pandanallur. Ours is Tanjore style. So that is what we follow.
Up next, Alaripu, literally flowering bud in Tamil. Alaripu is an invocation piece symbolizing the offering of respect to both God and the audience. Followed by Jati Swaram, a more difficult item of pure Nritya. Movements are set to rhythmic syllables or jatis, and swar patterns set in a particular rag and tal. The aim is pure aesthetic pleasure.
I like my dance because the mudras are so interesting and the dance is so interesting and it is on the god and really it is a good dance.
The third recital of the evening was all-time favorite, Krishna, the eighth incarnation of God Vishnu, titled Madhurashtakam.
Way that they were capable of showcase their talent and their brilliant performance, it was, I could say.
And the grand finale, Bho Shambho Shiva Swambho, depicting Shiva or Mahadev. A perfect blend of lay, swar and tal filled the air with purity.
It's fascinating to see how the mirrored hues are lent by the number of Hindu gods that we worship. Each one has a distinct character, appearance and symbolism, beautifully depicted by these youngsters. We hope you enjoyed the performance and will continue to take you to such mesmerizing events on our show same time next week. As of now, it's time for me to wrap up this particular episode. Until we meet, take very good care of yourself. It's a goodbye from the entire team.